Hello everyone, welcome back to the Minna Markets podcast. My name is Sophia Cruz, your host, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. Greg Wong. It's so nice to have you. How are you doing?
Sophia, it's great to be here on a Friday afternoon in DC. It's beautiful out there, but I'm glad to be inside with you.
Me as well. I know you. We've been talking for a little bit, but our audience perhaps doesn't, so I want to give you the chance to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you and what you do.
Yeah, well, I'm spending a lot of time here at George Washington University, helping out particularly in the finance department with the Investment Institute, but also in some of the venture capital and entrepreneurial programs they have here. And in fact, just gave a workshop on how to pitch to venture capital and communicate your story in a very succinct way, but a really interesting way. So hopefully I share some tips that they took away and can use as they do both venture competitions and, maybe become entrepreneurs themselves someday.
That is great. You are an entrepreneur yourself.
Well, in a sense, I do help out on my own investments nowadays. I kind of rely a lot on my experience and my judgment. So that is a little bit on the entrepreneurial side, but frankly, I have the biggest respect for entrepreneurs because it's actually something I probably wouldn't have wanted to do or couldn't have done. It requires so much passion and energy and time and resources, and it's hard. The number of truly successful entrepreneurs is a very, very small percentage. But the one thing I learned, entrepreneurs love what they do and they go all in and they'll keep going until they figure it out.
Whoa.
And so.
Yeah. So, and you've seen this and also you've faced it as well.
Well, I've seen it. I used to be an investment banker.
Okay, yeah.
And I only did internet and software companies. And this started in kind of the mid to late 1990s, and I was there for the internet bubble, where any idea was getting traction and funding, and people were starting companies left and right, and then the bubble burst, and really that was a separation between companies that were just ideas and fun and real businesses, and so you had that change, but. Like I said, that's when I learned a long time ago that it takes a special person to be that kind of an entrepreneur.
Okay, it's like build different. That's what they say. Anyway, but actually, I had a huge question because
yes,
you said you were working by the .com bubble,
mm-hmm.
and were you also working in the 2008 crisis?
Yeah. So what happened was I was an investment banker from about the late 1990s, and then joined one of my clients in the spring of 2008. Now, I wish I'd known what was going to happen that fall, right? With the whole market collapse, and I didn't. So I didn't change my PA there. But I was at a company that was actually a really good company, but the markets collapsed, and our stock price probably went from like 12 down to 2. But we were making a lot of capital, a lot of cash, and had cash on the balance sheet. So what did we do? We started buying back our stock, and I was buying back millions of dollars of our stock, sometimes on a daily basis. And I wish I'd done that for myself, but on behalf of the shareholders, it really paid off when the markets did heal themselves and did grow, and the company eventually got bought for, I can't remember, $27, $28 a share. Oh. So think about that from a return perspective. And that's the thing, everything moves in cycles, right? And so even in bad times, that's sometimes when you can make the best decisions and the most money. I always tell people, just because it's bad out there, look for the opportunities that won't be there, and you probably shouldn't be buying stock, right? When the stock market's super high, right? The time to buy it is when it's undervalued and cheap, especially when it's not your company's fault. It's just the overall market or the overall economy.
Mm-hmm. So you think that mindset has kept you going from the different career changes you've had? looking for opportunities, or what do you think is the biggest driver you've had throughout your entire career?
Well, I think part of it is I've been lucky. So some of it is I met the right people at the right time. But I think even more importantly is I've been able to figure out what I really liked doing and was given the opportunity to do that. And if you can combine something that you really like doing and hopefully you're halfway good at it, that makes life kind of enjoyable. And so along the past, I only really had 3 different careers, which, in the past, you used to work at one company for your entire career. That's not the case nowadays, right?
No,
You might be at a company for 18 months and you're on to the next one, and then you're on to the next one, right? So, but for me, I was a naval officer to start. I was an investment banker, and then I was essentially the internal investment banker doing corporate M&A and corporate, financings for a single client, for a company called web.com.
Yeah.
And lucky enough, I was with people that I really enjoyed being with. I had bosses that were just phenomenal people, and I felt like I was doing some good in each one of those careers. And if you can kind of put those together, you can consider yourself lucky.
Okay. And so now, with all this experience that you've had, how do you value a company, let's say, that you're trying to invest on?
Yeah, so nowadays, I really don't do individual investments.
Okay.
So I generally look for people who have some particular angle or insight, and particularly in private equity, and let them be the. First of all, it's real hard work, and I kind of avoid that nowadays. I've done that for 29 years, and taking a different stage of life. But what I look for is people that I really trust and I believe in, and let them do their thing. And so there's different groups that I work with that meet that criteria, and it's worked out well.
It's all about that leadership.
Well, it's about people. So people don't invest in companies. They don't invest in projects. Believe it or not, they actually invest in people, right? Because there is no business plan that you can show me that is exactly going to turn out that way. There's going to be opportunities that come along that people don't expect and they can take advantage of. There's going to be issues and challenges that you never thought of. And it's the people that have to navigate that. Hopefully identify the problems before they come and figure a way to avoid them, or think of those opportunities that no one thinks of and get ahead of the game and own a market before someone else even gets started. So it's back to people, and they have, whether it's expertise or access or some sort of methodology, that's what I look for.
Okay, and you must have seen this since the very beginning. I mean, you were in the dot-com bubble, 2008 crisis.
Right.
You saw people, or you yourself, you told me, you took advantage of that specific crisis and you made a huge outcome out of it because you saw the opportunity. What do you think is something that people who didn't get the chance to do what you did, like taking advantage of this crisis, what are people missing every time that they fail in one of these crises?
Well, again, first of all, I'd like to tell people it's when things are good, it's never as good as you think it is. And when it's bad, it's never as bad as you think it is. Some people get very myopic and just are going, okay, this is the market just crashed or I got just laid off, or something bad has happened in their life. And that's part of life, okay? I hate to say it, it's going to happen. It's going to happen to everybody. It's going to happen regularly. The question is, what do you do in those situations, right? And if you can think about, okay, now where do I go from here? And the thing to know is it's not going to stay that way. Things move in cycles. Things get healed. And sometimes just, taking that little risk, can pay off later on. And so I just encourage people, don't get too short-sighted and think about where you want to go long term, or where you think opportunities are going to be long term. And you know what? You get one shot at this life, and sometimes just take risks. And I mean that in a smart way, right? Don't take all your money and put it into one stock, and I hope that works. But I would say make sure that you think about how the long term can work out for you. And sometimes, again, it's those little risks that you're going to look back and go, I'm really glad I bought Apple a long time ago. I didn't, but I should have. And for the people that did, they're pretty happy about that.
They're happy. But I mean, you've been taking these risks, and you've been challenging yourself, I bet, because it's a process, right? Everything in life, you said, it's like a cycle. It repeats itself. And life keeps going and going, right? But do you think you built this because a mentor taught you this, or do you think you just learned through your way?
That's a great question. I think that some of it is I just did it, and there is luck involved, but I think you create your own luck, right? People that I've met, it's because I went to some networking event that if I just would have stayed home, I never would have met that person. Other situations, when I left investment banking to go down to Florida, that was a big change, but I knew it was my favorite client as a company, my favorite CEO. I had helped the company grow from very small to, it was a public company at the time already. I'd taken them public, so I knew them, and I felt like we were doing good work. Our company at the time, web.com, helped small businesses use the internet to grow their businesses, right? And it didn't hurt that it was in Florida, right? if it was, Southwest Kansas, I'm not sure it would have been, top of my list, but it was, but when I took the chance, it's like, if this doesn't work, I'll go do something else, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not prison where you're going to be stuck there. Exactly. If it doesn't work, fine, go do something else.
So it's always that resilience and that confidence that no matter what happens, I'll keep on trying.
You can't be overconfident, right?
Okay.
You don't want that either, because things have challenges, and you take the wrong risks. The penalties can, you're like, oh man, I really shouldn't have done that. Okay, but it's kind of educated risks where you go, okay, here's what I'm doing, but if it doesn't work, I'm going to go pivot and do this.
Okay.
And so that's the balance that I think you have to have.
Okay. So it was putting in those repetitions, like, I know how to do investment banking. I can IPO this company as well. So
for me, it was lucky enough, because when you're an investment banker, you have 6, 8, 10 deals going on at all different stages, and some are M&A, and some are capital raising, and some are just getting started, and some are wrapping up. Here, I became essentially the in-house investment banker for just one client. So everything that we did, all my attention was focused on just this one company. So it was more an ownership perspective, in terms of, wow, I'm part of this company and I need to make sure it goes well, rather than being transactional. Whereas when you have multiple deals, multiple clients going on, you're just trying to get their deals done. And so they both have their place, but it was easy to transition from one to the other. And so that's why it sounds like a big leap. It was, I had a comfort that I was making a good move.
Exactly. You were well informed, and you also told me you knew the CEO and everybody.
Yes. I think that the odds were high that it was going to work out, and so that's why I did it. But again, still, there's sometimes you just have to step out of your comfort zone and do something, a little beyond what you would expect, and it can have big payoffs.
Okay. Yes. So you were in ROTC. I believe you have to build strength since a very young age, and now you're still working. Now you told me I came from New York today in the morning. What is something that drives you to do what you do every day?
Okay. So it really is back to what I said earlier, which, do you find something you like doing? Okay, if you enjoy doing it, you don't think of it as work. I mean, people say that, but it is actually true. Because I sometimes ask, well, do you like what you're doing? I'm like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, go do something else, right? Life's too short.
Yeah.
And if you find something you like doing, the day goes by, you feel like you're getting stuff accomplished, and you're going to want, when you wake up and the alarm goes off, you're going to go, I'm ready to go. Now, look, you're going to have bad days, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can have bad weeks. I hope you don't have bad months, right? But that's part of, how things work.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are faced with that project you really don't like doing, or that client disagreement you had, you take a longer term picture and you just keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
And that works out just fine, again, if you like what you're doing and believe in what you're doing.
Okay. Liking, believing.
Yeah.
Liking leads to believing.
Well, or it might even be worse, right? Or inverse, which is, I believe, that this is going to make a difference. Like here, you guys share information, with
young people.
Lots of people, and I think you like what you do, but I also suspect you believe that you're actually doing something good.
Yes.
And if you have that makes it kind of fun, right?
It is fun. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, every day we wake up, it's the podcast. We think about the podcast, and you think
and it's
about
not
your work.
easy, right? I mean, you guys have to, book speakers. You have to get studio time. You have to figure out what you're going to talk about. You have to get audience participation and viewing, and so that's effort, right? And it's not just all fun and games, but you're willing to do that because, back to what we talked before, you believe in what you're doing and you like what you're doing. Okay, you're willing to do the stuff that you have to do to get the benefits
of it. Yes, that is so wise. Like, actually, a lot of people, like most of us, when we go on social media, we just hear things that just like literally rot our brains. And when we go out there and we listen to people who have faced so many situations, because I believe you must have faced so many situations throughout your entire career, it's so nice to hear like encouraging words to keep on going, because we're just young and we have to keep going.
But I think audiences now actually have special opportunities, and I mean that was when I was younger, we didn't have any of this stuff. No one was telling us anything, and you asked me earlier, how, did you have a mentor? No, sometimes you just kind of figured it out. Now you do have resources, you do have access that if you want to take advantage, is like, oh, I wish someone had told me that when I was a lot younger. But I don't, wouldn't hold it against anybody, because I really had no clue, when I was younger. And you just learn that through experience and through talking with other people. And don't hold it against anybody if they don't have it all figured out, because chances are you don't. And chances are it's going to change. But that's actually also part of the fun of it, right? Life's an adventure if you make it one. If you just kind of do the same thing every day, and I talked about getting new experiences. If you don't do that, it's just going to kind of drudge along. But if you are willing to move to a new city, or try a new hobby, or meet new people, that makes life interesting.
Yeah.
And you accumulate over time experiences, because one of the things I've learned is, you're not going to take it with you, right? We're all going to go one day or another, but along the way, you can look back and go, I got to do some really interesting. I went hiking in the Rockies and I saw this. Okay, whatever. I climbed Yosemite. That, whatever. Whatever makes you happy. I went to the national championship, NCAA's. Whatever. Which GW is going to do this year, right?
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah.
And so, accumulating experiences, no one can ever take those away from you.
No one, yeah.
And at the end of the day, you go, I actually lived an interesting life. Right? And that's, you haven't asked this, but if I was to define success, actually it's not about the houses you have or the car you drive or the title of your job. It's over time, did you build up interesting experiences and hopefully made an impact on other people, a positive impact.
Positive impact.
And if you've done that, you've won.
You won. Actually, you said positive impact, and I thought you always give back to GW. What do you think drives you to do that? Is it all of your experiences or what is it?
Well, it is trying to use some of those, things that I've learned over time. And if I just keep them to myself, that's not helping anybody. And I'm not sure that they're good advice for everybody, right? And maybe there's some nugget that someone will take and go, oh, okay, that seemed interesting. Mm-hmm. For me, that's a win.
That's a win.
And what better, I have, so much hope, for younger folks. Okay, you have just a whole blank canvas in front of you for your life. And I think that's kind of fun and interesting. And I just hope to give them a little tips, a little bit of perspective, and then they're going to find their way. I'm absolutely confident people will find their way. And if I can just help in a little part, and GW was part of my journey, and so that's why I like coming back here and again, do what I can to help.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Before we wrap up, is there something that you would like to just say to the audience out there? Most of our audience ranges from 18-year-olds to 24-year-olds. That's most of our audience, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people different ages. What is something that you would like to say to them?
I think, again, don't need to have it all figured out. You won't have it figured out. And if you think you do, it's going to be wrong. Okay? But you have the opportunity to really build the life that you want, and go try things different. Go visit things. Go meet new people. Go to different countries. Whatever it is. Make those it's those little decisions that will open up opportunities. And then when you have an opportunity, go for it. Right? And if it doesn't work out, go do something else. Right? That's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's what you should do. But you might find the right place, the right time, and you begin to do some really cool stuff that you never thought you would. Mm-hmm. And then make sure you circle back and try to pay it back to helping others, right? Mm-hmm. And others doesn't have to be coming back to your alma mater and helping out the students. It could be your community, it could be your neighborhood, it could be people you don't have know at all. Mm-hmm. But make it more than just about yourself, and then you get fulfillment. And if you can combine all that together, mm-hmm. actually I think that's the formula for happiness.
That's the formula for happiness. Okay, that is so great. I really like it. Yes, because it also relates to everything we do. I mean, you said businesses equal people at the end of the day. So if people are doing okay, it also means that there has to be success somewhere, right?
Yeah. Well, and back to, and when you work at a company, right, it's not just about profits and, stock price and stuff like that. You have customers that hopefully you're doing some good stuff for. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, whether if you're a restaurant, you're serving wonderful food. If you are, working at a automobile, manufacturing, you're making really great cars. You're working for SpaceX. You're sending, rockets up into, to the moon and beyond. Yeah. So, there's that. But then also you have your colleagues, the people that you work with, people you work for, people that work for you. You look at it from a multi-dimensional way, but at the end of the day, you're right. It's people, and how you treat them. And there's the golden rule, right? Again, everything I'm saying is not, people have said before, but the golden rule: treat people the way you want to be treated. And if you do that, things work out.
Okay, that is so great. So it's unfortunate that we have to cut it short today here, but it was so nice talking with you, and I'm pretty sure all of the audience that listens to this podcast is gonna get so much out of it. So I'll have to say bye to the audience as well. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I hope you listen to upcoming weeks, one. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.